Let the stories begin.
It's the storyteller's world. It's the storyteller's world, a place for all to grow. We'll lighten up your world with something you should know. Every man, woman, boy and girl, join in the storyteller's world. The storyteller's world.
This episode on The Storyteller's World.
Big 3, 2, 1.
Sheila was enjoying her playtime with her friends, Trudy and Sheila. The friends were neighbors and had all been born and bred on the same estate. They had all attended the same primary school, but were now in separate high schools. When they came home, however, they told each other stories about what transpired in their high schools. Trudy was telling an interesting story of how she got a detention. Before she could conclude the story, Jennifer, Sheila's mom, stuck her head out of the window and shouted, "Sheila, make your way home." Sheila quarreled with her mom when she got in. "Does the whole neighborhood have to hear that you're calling me to come home? If you use your initiative and come home once it's getting dark, I won't have to shout, will I?" Her mom retorted, "What about summer then, when the light is up till midnight? Can I stay out till midnight then?" Sheila said cheekily, "It's only 7:30 p.m. and you're already calling me when my friends can stay out till whatever time they want." "Well, you are not a strict kid. And what about your homework? Have you completed it?" "I can do it later, Mom." "It's not fair," she shouted. Sheila thumped her feet and walked past her mom into the house. Brian, Sheila's 12-year-old brother, did not know who to side. He wanted to play out too, but he wasn't too bothered because he was a bookworm. He was very happy with a good book, so he did not make too much of a fuss. Jennifer had to contend with raising the children alone on weekdays as her husband Benson worked away and would only discipline the children on phone. He was a bit of a softie though, and because he was never there often, he just wanted to spoil the kids whenever he came around. He often splashed out expensive holidays. The last one was a 14-day Caribbean cruise. Jennifer felt like a lone voice when the children needed correction. Benson desperately wanted to be their friend and turned a blind eye even to the obvious. Recently though, he had noticed that Sheila was becoming more and more incorrigible. The way she talked and behaved. Trudy and Sheila called her to the corner and coached her on how to free herself from her parents. Jennifer called Sheila, but this time she was determined not to answer. She stayed outside till midnight and hid in a friend's house. She went in through a back window, so Trudy's mom had no idea that they had a visitor. When the police were called, they knocked on the neighbors' doors. Sheila quickly sneaked out of Trudy's house and went home. The next day, Sheila did not come home after school, and they had to call the police once again, who searched for her all night to no avail. In the morning, Sheila went to school without her uniform, and her mom had to be called to bring her uniform in. Now, even her dad was shouting, "Enough is enough!" at his wonderful daughter. At the other end of the phone line, one day Sheila came home reeking of alcohol and smelling of weed. Her mom beat the substances out of her daughter. At the weekend, when Benson came home, he had to admit to his wife, "We need help. Things can't continue like this." They invited his brother and sister in, Uncle Stanley and Auntie Pauline. They spoke in loud whispers. Auntie Pauline advised, "You need to send this child to Gold Academy in Africa. She'll be properly refined when she comes back. If she carries on like this, she will drag the name of our entire family into the mud." Uncle Eugene nodded in agreement. "She's spoiled and she needs to learn some common sense." Sheila overheard all that was being said and went out to tell her mates, Trudy and Sheila, Apparently, I'm being shipped off to Africa to learn some common sense. Says who? The friends inquired. Well, a family meeting is going on as we speak. The friends also held their meeting. When Sheila got to school, she looked sad and dejected and wouldn't participate in anything. Her teacher, Mrs. Brown, had to interview her at break time. She said that her parents were planning to send her off to Africa for punishment. How do you know that? Her teacher probed. She described what she had seen and heard and given her teacher exaggerated accounts. After school, the social services were at the door. After chatting with Jennifer, they took both children. Brian was kicking and screaming and protesting. He refused to eat or drink anything. He kept shouting, "I want my mommy and daddy." He was allowed to give his own account of family life. "My parents love us, but the problem is my sister wants to be on the streets all night, every day. She has also begun to drink and smoke and swear. Dad and Mom are not happy. Take her and let me go home." After 2 months, there was another meeting and review. It was agreed that the children could not be taken abroad without consent, and they were not allowed to go to Africa at all during this time. The children were allowed to go home, but Sheila found another excuse not to go. She said, "I do not really feel ready or safe." When she went back home after 6 months of being placed in care, she was hooked on drugs and drink, and her tummy had a little bulge. She would sit in the front of the house and drink, not caring what passers-by would think or say. "What shall we do?" Benson said in agony. The parents went through their options quietly. "I'm going to be 16 soon," Sheila announced in the house. She turned to her dad. "Dad, what are you getting me for my 16th? "I'll get you a good present, dear. But don't think of having a party this year." "But Brian had a party." "That's not fair." "That's exactly how we feel," Jennifer cut in. "Life is not fair. We don't deserve how you have treated us, but we're still considering a present." On the 16th, Sheila had been out drinking the night before. Her parents used the time she was out to sort out her room. "Happy birthday," her dad said as soon as she came through the door. "You are now old enough to live your own life since you don't listen to us anyway." They put out her luggage and pushed Sheila out. "I know you'll be taught lessons that you wouldn't learn at home," her mom shouted. "But it's my birthday!" It seems that the pressure of not getting what she asked for was getting to Sheila. Her parents gave her the gift of freedom for her 16th birthday. Let's see what she did with her present. Sheila was given a house by the government, and she enjoyed the freedom. There was no one to bother her and tell her, "Come home because it's late." After a while, she became quite sick because she was pregnant. She missed her mom's tender, loving care and food. She had to attend her antenatal clinic alone. Rascal P, as he was known on the streets, was not interested in being a father. His major preoccupation was petty theft, pickpocketing, and stealing from shops. He used the proceeds to buy and sell drugs. At 18, Rascal P had already been a young offender, imprisoned 4 times. Sheila began to wonder how she had sunk so low to be involved with this scallywag. But the kind of things people get up to when they're on drink and drugs is shocking. On one day, as Sandra, her neighbor's daughter, was playing out in the streets, she heard her mom calling her daughter, "Sandra, come and have your tea and do your homework." This put tears in her eyes when she saw the way the 14-year-old went to her mom immediately with no resistance. She later found out that Sandra was one of the cleverest children in her class, attributed partly to the fact that she listened and followed instruction. The midwife came to visit Sheila. "How are you feeling?" "Not great. My head hurts." The midwife, Elaine, looked around. "Did you drink all those cans of beer?" "No, my mates had some," she lied. Elaine told her that drinking like this could harm the unborn baby. You don't want to come out with health problems, do you? Sandra shook her head. You're almost due. Where is your bag to take to hospital if you suddenly went into labor? You need to take painkiller if you have headache though. What have you eaten today? I'm not very hungry. But your baby needs food. You need to do some food shopping, Elaine said when Sheila opened the cupboards and found that they were bare. You cannot use food money to buy booze. You need to do a budget. Can I call your mom? She doesn't care about me. She kicked me out. Just call her. I know she cares. Sheila picked up her phone in slow motion. She had got more than she bargained for, and now she was sober. Mom, I'm sorry for how I treated you, but I really need help. Jennifer had to hold herself together. It took all the willpower in her to let go of her daughter, to make some decisions of her own, even though unwise. She did a grocery shop on the way there and cooked Sheila a meal. She spent a couple of hours with her tidying the house, but made no comments on her lifestyle. What is happening to your schooling? Her mom asked. Oh, I put it on hold. I can't go like this, pointing to her bump. I feel very tired and unwell. Her mom said, well, I guess you're old enough to make your own choices. Finally, the day came for Sheila to have the baby. She packed her bag and went off to hospital. When the pain was becoming more and more rapid and severe, she shouted, call my mom! Jennifer came and encouraged her daughter. The labor was intense. It went on and on for a whole day, and the second day, the dilation was not progressive. The baby seemed to be in distress, so a decision was made to take Sheila to the theater. Once all the papers had been signed, Mom, I love you, Sheila shouted in between pain. Jennifer was shattered on the inside but remained strong on the outside. She said a silent prayer. God, if you're up there, help my daughter out of these troubles. After a while, the doctors pulled out a cute little baby girl who went straight on oxygen to help her breathing. After 8 days, the new mom and little baby Amy, the name Sheila gave her, both went home. Jennifer stayed for 2 weeks and then went home. Benson and Brian went to visit her. Brian said, Amy has got a nose like mine. Hello, Amy, this is your Uncle Brian. They all laughed. When they left, they had Sheila crying on the line. Mom, I can't sleep at day or night. Amy is either crying or wants more food. Please, can you come and get her? I did my time, Sheila. That's the way you cried. And I couldn't sleep, but I still coped. That's what all mothers have to do. You have decided to go to the school of motherhood, so the lessons from there must be learned and applied accordingly. Sheila had become sober. She was very grateful when she got help and coped when none was available. After 1 year, there was another family meeting. The family, with her uncle and auntie, decided to have Amy on rota basis as well as paying for a nursery space. Sheila went back to school. She felt bad that she was not in the same class as her former mates, but she was grateful that she had another opportunity to do well. She didn't blow it this time. And that concludes our story. Train up a child in the way they should go, and when they are old, they will not depart from it. Spare the rod and spoil the child. Correct your children while there is yet hope. Catch them young. For our children, it is good for you to know that you will reap what you sow, and what goes around comes around. So make wise choices for your actions. There are consequences. If a person is often reproved and he continues to harden his neck, suddenly destruction will come without remedy. Do not follow those who are going nowhere and want to take you with them. 3, 2, 1, take action. The spotlight is on you. What are you writing on your own script? If you do not like what you see, amend while there is still time. Life is not a rehearsal. The real thing is what we're living out now. Let your child know that it pays to listen to parents' wise counsel. Thank you for being part of our community today, as we have come together to listen to stories that affect us as a people and preserve our rich heritage. If our stories have impacted you in any way, we would like to hear from you. Please drop us a line by email, and it is thestorytellersworld@gmail.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page and our YouTube page, The Storytellers World. Kindly subscribe and look out for our inspiring stories. Our website is storytellersworld.co.uk, where you can find our stories and audio podcasts. There is always something for everyone. Till we come your way again, it's bye from all of us at the Storytellers World.
It's the Storyteller's World, a place for all to grow. Well, lighten up your world with something you should know. Every man, woman, boy and girl, join in the Storyteller's World. The Storyteller's World. The Storyteller's World.